Hello, 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 and hello. Welcome, 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 and thank you for joining me. It is Tarot Tuesday, Tarot Reviews Day, and I'm back with a new deck to show you from my enormous collection. This week, I have one of the tiny travel decks that I brought with me, and we are traveling with it's the travel-sized Rumi Oracle by Alana Fairchild. I love Alana Fairchild. She makes the most gorgeous decks. This deck is a deck that she collaborated with a Persian artist named Rasuli. And Rasuli's art is so gorgeous. So let's talk about that. So Rasuli is a Persian artist who, like perfect to tap for Rumi, who specializes in this very spiritual surrealism. So it's something that's like, yeah, there's a realist element to it, but it's very dreamlike, it's very spiritual, it's very ethereal in terms of subject matter, the way that things are depicted, the way he uses light. It's so gorgeous. But I think, so he's trained in classical Persian art, and then he went into architecture, and then he went on in around 1984 to coin this, what's it called? The fusion art movement. And the fusion art movement is something that is fusing together opposites. And so for him, it fuses Eastern ideas, spirituality, subject matter, and painting approaches. But he's fusing it with some Western techniques, approaches, and materials. And so he's doing these beautiful, beautiful oil paintings. A lot of them that I've seen online, they seem very large in scale, but it works with light and dark very beautifully. So there's a union of opposites there as well. You know, the plane of, materiality and immateriality, that's a juxtaposition he's using a lot. Just absolutely gorgeous. And I love these beautiful, like, fluid lines, fluid strokes that he's using. Just gorgeous. I mean, like, look at how beautifully blended this stuff is to create this sort of boundary between the two worlds. And it's very, very well done. And so Rasuli has done a few oracle decks and I think some books, but also exhibits as a painter. There's something very Remedios Savaro, Leonora Carrington, like for those of you who are into surrealism, it's very much within the vein of what they do. In a lot of very similar techniques and approaches, as well as compositional strategies. So yeah, I really love the artwork on this deck. It is spectacular. Like, oh, all the people in the background there. It's just so interesting. You really have to look and look and look into these. There's a lot going on. I would say, in terms of the decks that I own, this is probably one of the most engaging and capable artists in terms of like somebody who's using non-digital art and just doing it entirely from their own imagination, their own hands. Well, it all comes from their own imagination because I don't do AI decks, but coming from their own hands, specifically creating, I think it's just, there's so much going on here. This is just this is a solid deck. And Alana Fairchild's decks tend to be very, very solid. And Rumi is a great concept to work with. So he's a Sufi poet who lived in the early medieval period, like around the 1200s. So maybe like solidly the middle of the medieval period. The 1200s. And he was Sufi and very inspired by whirling dervishes and using music, art, and dance as forms of expressing your spirituality, expressing, like bridging this world and the world of God. And he writes a lot about love and different forms of love. He writes about God in these very beautiful, poetic ways. So this is a really fabulous deck to look at. For me, if you're going to buy this deck, I would get this deck for like when you want to peel things back and really look at it. So this is the pocket-sized deck. And one thing I really love about pocket-sized decks is that a lot of authors, they want to reduce the bulk of the packaging by taking out the book. And they do that by putting the key image on one side and the text on the other side. I really like the authors who kind of sacrifice the back of their card and just kind of make it really easy for neurodivergent readers so that we don't have to shuffle through a book. Everything is just right there. I really, really like that about this deck. The larger deck obviously has a book, and so the cards are going to be a little different. But I definitely like the pocket-sized deck for that. So there is the painting, and then you have the title of the oracle, and then you have a passage from Rumi before she goes into writing an interpretation. So including Rumi's poetry is because they're obviously, it's probably ekphrastic. It's like, this is what inspired the image, right? She probably sent him different passages to think about, right? And he painted according to those passages, and then she got the painting back, and then maybe from there wrote the interpretation. I don't know if that was the process, but if I were to do it, that's exactly what I would do. I'm kind of doing it right now. I'm working on an ekphrastic project with my husband right now. And I make an image and I give it to him, and maybe like if I'm inspired by a key word, I'll give him that word, and then he's actually writing a poem. And then I'm writing the interpretation based off of that, which is pretty cool. Gorgeous. I love the otherworldly use of colors. It reminds me of like Matisse, the Fauvists. Like, look at that. Matisse could have done that. The coloring, right? So beautiful. All right, so let's give this little lady a shuffle-roo and see what kind of message we get for this week. What does the collective need to know for their highest? Ooh, highest good. Ooh, we have two that came out. Oh my gosh. So this one that we even kind of focused on a little bit. And then this one here. So let's see what our cards are for this week. I have Beyond Death, Life. Footprints lead to the shore of the sea. Beyond that point, no trace remains. You are urged beyond what has been. The time has come. Lay it to rest now. This ending comes as a grace to free you from all you have known. What you have known is now too small for your soul. Put your listening ears on, kids. The human gift. Such attraction is offered by the beloved with sweetness and generosity, yet jealously comes from you. Yet such jealousy comes from you with so much doubt and suspicion. Do you berate yourself, blazing angel, because you have moments where you cannot trust in love more than you believe in your fear? Rise now from your doubts and admonishments, and let your human self be loved. Even with all the doubt, you are a cherished one of the great beloved and always shall be. Be kind to your heart. My goodness, right? So a very powerful message that I'm feeling from this. Our lives are filled with beginnings and endings, death and rebirth, and over and over and over. And when we're in that period of rebirth, it can be so rejuvenating. When we're in that period of spring, it can be so rejuvenating, right? Like, we want that. But we often want to deny ourselves, like, fall and winter. When we see that there are parts of ourselves that so clearly need to die, or parts of our lives that are just falling apart, and we're like, why is this happening, even though we know this isn't working anymore, right? We know this isn't like, the old life isn't an option for me anymore, but it's what I know, and I don't know what's coming. And so that people will linger in that in-between space. And I feel like I talk about this all the time, these 10 of Swords moments. People linger in that in-between space for a very long time. And a lot of it is because they beat themselves up and they're like, wow, I'm blah, blah years old. I shouldn't be here. Right? Or, you know, I just finished this part of my life and I know I'm supposed to move on to XYZ, but I'm having all of these feelings of fear or anxiety, and you're kind of beating yourself up for it, right? Like, I know that if I take this step, it's going to be the right thing. Or even just like, I don't know what's coming next and I don't even know where to begin to look for what's coming next. You know, there's all these feelings that we have, but it's fall. It's a season. It's autumn. Things have died away. And then winter comes and we're supposed to be not as productive as we are, right? In spring or summer. Like this isn't planting and it isn't tending and it isn't harvesting. It's resting and recovering. And we don't want to allow ourselves that. I feel like this has been coming up a lot. I don't know who watches these. I don't know who watches these, but you're being encouraged to go a little easy on yourself. You're being encouraged to go a little bit easy on yourself, because what's happening in your life, it's supposed to change. What's died away, what's seen itself out, that's just, I feel like a lot of that was out of your control, right? Or you chose something and you had your happy moment with it, but now it's like no longer gelling the way that it did, right? It just means it's time for a tweak, time to rest, recover, re-examine, and then make a change, then do some more planting, maybe grow a couple of new crops next season. You know what I'm saying? But it's really interesting because I feel like we have the same image here. We have the same angel that's telling us your old life was too small for you. The old way of being, it's not yours anymore. You did what you needed to do with that. Like, allow this change. So you're being encouraged to allow the change. You're being encouraged to just let go of what the other thing was and step fully. But the same angel is like flying to you in your despair. And they're saying to you, honey, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just because you don't have it figured out, just because there's a gap right now, just because you might not know exactly what the future is going to look like, exactly what that new project is. You know enough to get started. You know enough to start acting like the person who has that thing. You know enough. So let it be tender. Let go, but let it be tender. Right? That's what I'm feeling from this couple of cards today. Is there anything else here? Yeah, short and sweet. I feel like that's the message. Let go, but give yourself a friggin' break. That's the message that we're getting from our little helper, our little guide here. Let go, but give yourself a break. Yeah. All right. Much love to all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going home tomorrow. So if I did not get to see you while I was in Cincinnati, I will be back. DC folks, I love you. I'm on my way. And yeah, if you need me, send me a message on Instagram at the Lydian Lantern. I'm happy to talk through anything with you. I have a list of awesome things that I'm doing, such as parts work, hypnotherapy, vocal activation. So just check out my Instagram at the Lydian Lantern for my schedule of services. I love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll be back next week with a brand new deck. Mwah. Bye.